Welcome to the New Patients on Tap Formula Marketing System, Module 1, Lesson 1. So there are 3 lessons in Module 1, and what we're going to do in Module 1 is we're going to basically go through the concept of the New Patients on Tap formula and how it works. So what we'd like is, at the end of this module, you should know one main thing. You should have an understanding of why patients are not ready to book with you now. They're not ready to say yes to the marketing that you're using, and how we can use information marketing and direct response marketing to overcome their reluctance. So we'll go through this in this lesson, that the number of patients who are not ready to come now significantly outweighs those who are ready to come now, which are the ones you are targeting in all likelihood at the moment. And how we can use the information and direct response marketing to get them to begin the journey to become a patient of yours. So what is marketing anyway? So the Oxford English Dictionary tells us that marketing is the activity of presenting, advertising, and selling a company's products or services in the best way possible. What it doesn't tell us is what is the best way possible. And I would argue, for a health clinic like yours, that using the New Patients on Tap formula is the best way to do so. It is, when I say it's the best way, it is the way that will allow you to know how much you need to spend to get your ideal patient in the door and how much you'll make from that patient when you do so. And essentially at that point then, you'll be able to decide how many new patients you want by how much I'll spend and what marketing I'll do, and you can turn that up or turn it down just like a tap. The truth is that most clinics are just simply not marketing themselves in the best possible way, and are instead, if marketing at all, and the significant majority are not, they're just doing what everyone else is doing, which is the case when it comes to most of our clinics. When you think about when you opened your clinic, what training, business training did you have? The majority of people that open clinics have little or no business training, and they simply just copy what the last clinic they worked for was doing, or they ring around and look at what other clinics in their neighborhood are doing, and they'll copy what they're doing. We do the same thing when it comes to pricing. So what happens is they look at the marketing, they look at the website of the other clinics, they think, well, they seem to be okay, we'll just copy that. And the truth is, from my experience of having dealt with so many clinics, that they're actually not doing okay. And by copying them, you're painting yourself into a corner where you're not going to do okay. But there is another way, and that's the New Patients on Tap formula. So why is it vital that you market yourself and your clinic well? Well, it is incumbent on us to inform people who could benefit from our help that we could do so. And if I give you an example, I have an autistic little girl who needs speech and language and occupational therapy and a lot of help. And I live in Ireland, and we have a free public health system. But that health system is not being budgeted correctly. And their waiting lists for little girls like mine to get help is in the years, not in the weeks or the months, but in the years. Now, luckily, she has parents who can afford it and can understand the reason for putting the money into that, her care. And we go privately. And we go to a clinic where we get OT in speech and language, and they're excellent at what they do. But I met the owner of that clinic one day and had just been telling her about the marketing that I was doing in my clinic and how much it helped. And she recoiled and said that she would never do marketing because she felt it was immoral in some way. Now, my opinion is that how is it possibly immoral for her to inform parents in the city I live, and there are hundreds of kids who are out there who are not getting any intervention, and the longer they go without intervention, the worse their long-term lifestyle will be, the worse for them long-term. Those parents, if they're not being made aware that you can get help privately and they're willing to do so, I see nothing immoral about helping people make the right choice for their health and for their family's health. So it's incumbent upon you that you market your clinic well, so that those people out there who are possibly getting treatment the wrong way or in the wrong clinic come to your clinic and get the right type of treatment. Marketing will also help improve your clinic's financial security for all of its stakeholders. Your stakeholders would include you, your family, your staff, your patients, your suppliers. All of them are hoping and relying that you have a business that is going to last the test of time, that is not going to fold at the first sign of any difficulty, and that you have built financially a secure enough business through marketing that you will be there no matter what happens to look after all of those people. You can improve your clinic's offerings with marketing. Simply by having marketing, you can improve your profits and turnover, like I said, and reinvest that into your staff training. You can have longer hours. You can have a bigger clinic. You can invest in equipment that you couldn't do before. I've done all of these in my clinic, and my clients are doing the same. And marketing and the new patients on tap formula will allow you to do the same. Marketing is important because it will allow you, the owner, to achieve the aims you had when you founded your business. If you think back to when you left whatever job you had, secure job or relatively secure job, and you decided to open up on your own, you would have had some aspirations for the kind of lifestyle you want. And normally what will happen is, as a clinic owner, we have little or no business acumen or training, and we're not really sure what to do. So we simply just work hard. We see lots and lots of patients. We squeeze in as many as we can, and we work as many hours as we can. I've dealt with clients who've been working 70 hours a week. Unnecessary. Because marketing will allow you to scale up that business to attract the patients that are your ideal patient, and therefore allow you as the owner to make all of it worthwhile. Because if it's not worthwhile and you're getting burnt out, you're going to be unhappy, your family's not going to be secure, and in worst case scenario, you leave the profession or close that job, and you're not there for anybody. So marketing will allow you, when done well, to overcome all of that. So what are the mistakes that clinic owners like you are making in their marketing? Well, the first thing they're doing is they're dismissing the marketing as beneath them. I remember going to a course a number of years ago, and there was a number of different professions. It was a pain course, and we had lunch together, and we sat around the table, and there was 3 physios, myself and an OT, and of them, the 3 physios did not have any website because they felt that it was beneath them to have to hustle for work, that it was more moral to simply sit around and expect people to talk about how good they were. Now, I can understand, I don't agree, but I can understand where they're coming from. But that's a pretty slow way to build a business. It's not a secure way to build a business, because none of it's within your remit, really. And of those 3 clinics, 2 of them are gone. Other mistakes they make is people have no plan. They just react to what is offered. And that exact thing happened to me. I used to advertise in the Yellow Pages because I didn't know what else to do, and everybody was in the Yellow Pages, so I copied everyone else. And it didn't start to work as well, if it was working at all. But the Yellow Pages was getting smaller and smaller as people moved to online. And the Yellow Pages salesman came around and asked me would I like to do Google Ads, that they were now doing Google Ads. So I was like, yeah, of course, let's do that. So I gave him €3,000, which was an awful lot of money, which I didn't have at the time, because I thought that Google Ads was the way to go, and it was the way to go, but I just reacted to whatever was offered rather than actually planning it out. So he came back after a number of months. You spent €3,000, you got this many impressions, you got this many clicks, None of it meant anything to me, and I couldn't see any difference in my turnover or profits. It made no difference because I had no plan. I just reacted to what walked in the door. The people have an ineffective website. So I would say 99% of clinic owners have a website that really is only targeting the patients who are ready to come to see you right now. And that's just a tiny percentage of your patients, potential patients. They get a graphic designer to design the website because that's who advertises to design websites. Graphic designers are really good at making the websites look really good. The code is done correctly. When you click on a link, it works and so forth. But they have no idea of the psychology of human behavior when it comes to interacting with websites. As in, what decisions do people make when they go on a website, and how do they make that decisions based on the layout of the website? So you end up with a very, as happened in my case, a very expensive, very pretty, but entirely useless website because it wasn't really making me any money. And if it was making me any money, I had no way of telling for sure. Whereas what the New Patients on Tap formula will do is it will show you, it's such an important part of your marketing that we have a full module on it. It will show you how to build a website that will make you money and generate leads 24/7, whether you're awake, asleep, on holiday, closed for Christmas, or so forth. Another mistake that people make, clinic owners make in their marketing, is they're not measuring their ROI. So the ROI is the return on investment. So the New Patients on Tap formula will show you that when you spend, for example, £100 on Facebook ads, that you should be able to see at the end of that campaign, let's say after a month, how much money did I make for it? So with my clients, what we do is we develop a system where at the end of the month, we go back and we look at how many leads did we generate from that £100, what did they actually end up spending, and therefore what was our return on investment. So if I spend £100 and I make £1,000, therefore I can make an educated decision that the following month I'll spend £150 because I'll know I'll make £1,500. And doing that, measuring your ROI means that your every marketing penny that you spend is held to account and nothing is wasted, and it allows you to scale up what's working while turning off what's not working. Like I said a little bit earlier, one of the biggest mistakes that I see with clinic owners is they only focus on the potential patients who are ready to book now. And they do this because that's what every other clinic has been doing. So we're going to go through this in the next number of slides because this is hugely important. In the New Patients on Tap formula, we will gladly accept the 2 to 5% of those patients who are ready to book now. So that is, if you imagine you're dealing with knee pain, and of the hundreds of people out there that have knee pain and could do with your help or whatever condition you're thinking of right now, the research tells us only between 2 and 5%, if you're really lucky, but it's closer to 2%, of those people are ready to book an appointment with a clinic now. And what happens is all of your competitors are going after that 2 to 5%. And they're ignoring the 95% plus who have a problem, who need someone to help them, who are either not ready to go or don't know where to go or unsure of who to trust. And they're simply ignoring those, and they're going after the only 2%, which is what we're not going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to actively go after the 95% who are not ready to book now, but do need your help. And with our marketing system, we will convince them of the reason and the need to book now, and they will do so. And we will pick up the 2 to 5% as well, because our marketing is better. By doing that, by focusing on the 95%, what happens is our marketing is cheaper than it would be if we went after the 2 to 5%, because it's got no competition, because none of your competitors are doing any of this. So the research tells us the average e-commerce website conversion rate in the US stands at 2.63% as it compared to the global website conversion of 4.3%. So you can see here what this basically means is that if you have a website that is asking people to make a decision about spending their money, either buying something such as on Amazon or eBay, or booking an appointment, which is what you're doing, you're only getting between 2 and 4.5 to 5% of the people who land on your page to do so. And the other 95% are taking no action and they're going elsewhere. And that's what we're going to go after. So almost, like I said, 19 out of 20 visitors to your website never take any action. They do not call you. They do not book an appointment with you. They do not sign up to any offer. And you have no idea that that's happening because the website you've built, your marketing system you've built, doesn't allow you to chase those people, to tell what's happening, and we're going to go after them instead. So can you imagine what would happen if you could get your business conversion rate to increase to 7.5% or even 10%? It will allow you to scale up your business, to improve your turnover, and reinvest that money into your clinic, into your staff, into your equipment, into your patients with better services, and allow you as the owner of the clinic to reach the financial goals, financial freedom that you're looking for. So what's going on in the head of those 95% who are just not ready to say yes? Have you ever asked yourself that? Probably not. I certainly didn't until I learned that this was the system that was going to scale my business. They are skeptical about whether you are the right person to help them achieve their goal. They are on a spectrum of skepticism. So if you think of those 95% of people, at one end of the scale, they're just never going to come and see you. They don't trust medics. They've had really bad experiences elsewhere. If you're a podiatrist, they might have a bag of orthotics. I've had that happen to me. And they come in and they say, you better not sell me another orthotic. Or if you're a physio, they say, I hate all physios because they had a bad experience with the physio. Or all the way to the other end of the scale, you will have the person who is just not sure where to go, doesn't really know what does a podiatrist do, what does a physio do, what does an occupational therapist do. They're not entirely sure of what an osteopath is doing, and they just need somebody to help them. So they're on a spectrum of skepticism. Now, we don't take it personally. It doesn't mean they don't like us. They're just not ready to make that decision. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and help them to come up with the reasons and the answers to make the right decision for their health. And we're going to do it in an ethical way. We're not going to manipulate them. The difference between manipulation and influencing someone to make the decision to pick your clinic is your intention. So it's using the psychology of decision making. And if your intention is to use that psychology to manipulate your patients, well, then I can't do anything about that. But if your intention is to use the training we give you in this course and the system we give you to influence those people to make the right decision about their health, which is to come and see you, and in certain circumstances, it may not be to come and see you. You might say, look, I'm actually not the right clinic. Well, that again is just purely down to your intent. So what are the patient's reasons for not going ahead with treatment? And this is something I would tell you to think about when you finish this lesson here, this module here today. Think about what are your patient's reasons for not going ahead with treatment. Now, you'll find this out by asking the people who've come in and why did you go ahead? But equally by asking people who have a foot problem who never went ahead elsewhere. And that's going to be outside of your clinic, because you got to remember that in all likelihood, the people you're seeing at the moment are the 2 to 5% of people who are ready to go ahead. And what we're going to chase is the other 95% who are not quite ready yet, but will be when we interact with them. So one of the most common things they'll say is, I'm just not sure what you actually do. Am I in the right place? So we medics, we would be quite insular, and we would tend to think that everybody understands what we do. But in reality, they don't. They might have heard of the term, but they're not entirely sure what you do. Do you cause me pain? Do you put me on a machine? Are you going to give me exercises and not do any hands-on? Are you going to give me orthotics or so forth? So they're just not sure. Am I even in the right place? Maybe I should go to my GP instead. How do I even know you can fix me? What guarantee can you give me that you can fix me? One of the barriers that we as medics have is realizing and empathizing with what's going on in our patient's head. When your patient brings their car to the garage because there's a noise in the engine, They expect that garage owner to tell them what's wrong, to tell them what it's going to take to get it fixed and how much it's going to cost before they say, yes, I'll spend some money. Whereas when they come to us, we seem to think that that's not what's going to happen. Whereas the patient looks on us the same way, the majority of patients will look on us the same way as they will any other transaction when you're in private care. I want to know what's wrong. I want to know what it's going to cost. And I want to know, can you actually even fix me? And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, we don't give them the information beforehand to tell them that that's the case or to help them overcome that barrier, so they make no decision, because a confused mind will make no decision. I'm not sure, again, how long it will take to get me better, which is similar to asking how much is it going to cost. Because obviously, the longer it takes, the more it's going to cost me. And a lot of clinics, what they'll do, is they will treat the patient one appointment at a time. And the patient has no idea when is this going to finish. So they'll drop out of the treatment plan too early. Maybe 50%, 60%. Have you had that patient that's come into you and you've got them out of pain and you know they're not completely fixed and they cancel their appointment and they don't come back? And I used to find that incredibly frustrating. And the reason is because they're not sure how long is this going to take and what's it going to cost. So they might have had that experience in another clinic, and because of that, they're not willing to make any decision or any choice, and they're not even attempting to contact your clinic at all. So we're going to help them overcome that. Maybe they've had poor experiences in other medical clinics beforehand. They've felt that they got poor quality customer service, or the treatment was painful, or just simply, like I said, they didn't really understand what was going on because it wasn't made clear to them what was needed, where they were going, and it wasn't like when they go to their garage, an expectation of clarity on the full price, the full cost was not forthcoming. Therefore, they're not going to trust any medic or anyone who has a similar profession to the one that they went to before. So that's lesson 1, and I will see you in lesson 2.